All right, everybody. Eric Beans, CEO of HapPhi. Let's get nerdy today. Talk a little bit about microservice architecture. So you're a software person and you're looking to start a software company, or you're not a software person and you're looking to start a software company. Maybe you don't know what direction to go in as far as your stack, and you don't know how to actually put this product together. One of the most crucial things that you can do is first figure out what you're actually going to build. Some people don't really even know. They're just like, I want to build something, and then the market will tell me what I want. I'm the opposite. I don't. I know exactly what I want. The market doesn't know what they want. That's kind of the point of knowing. Is I've been through so many industries. I can have a vision. Some people don't have that. They just say, I'm going to build something. Well, either way, at some point, the rubber needs to hit the road. And you kind of say, hey, what's our architecture going to be? Back in the day, you used to actually have, very old Fortran systems, mega servers. It was a whole different thing. We moved into the web world, and you had your Android, and this is still true today. You still have your Android and Apple stuff, which really is awful from a development standpoint because you actually have to have a development team for your desktop or your laptop. You have to have a development team for Android and a development team for Apple. Unless iTunes, and this is a big one, unless you built it as a progressive web app and just said fuck Apple, fuck Google. No offense, because I'm on the YouTube thing. I'm going to build this the way that I want to build it, and not have three development teams. Have one development team with a web-based platform that operates as an app. It'll actually work offline. It adjusts liquid to each browser size, so browser compatibility isn't an issue. With my past company, we were constantly updating for Chrome, Safari, Firefox. At one point we had IE. Now IE had versions that went back IE 6, IE 7, IE 18. Thank God Internet Explorer is dead. It should have been killed off so long ago. So they have Microsoft Edge now. Still garbage, and Microsoft makes garbage products. I'd like to say that for the record. So now you can have a progressive web app, but then we move into the architecture side. So what is a microservices architecture and why should you care? Microservice architecture are components, meaning in your application that you're building, you might have things in your software that do certain functions. So let's say that you are building, in our case, we're building a chat product that has search and other components. Each of those functions is a separate API call that we call into our browser. So our browser ties into the API the same way a third-party company would tie into our API in a lot of ways, for all the same queries, so that when they're pulling in the actual their queries for what information they want, if assuming they've said we don't want to use your front end, it's the exact same queries that we would pull in into our front end, because obviously we're using our front end, and we built a white label front end that you can then turn around and go out and use, brand, and sell. But if you're not going to do that, each component is its own API call. So each component for something like chat, for socket chat, for login, for your authentication, is actually a separate API call. That way you've got a broken out product. And as a person who's running the company, if there's an issue, if you have to do some diagnosis for a bug, and bugs are just part of software. We use testing and all that, but there's still bugs. When you do your testing, it's very easy when you're in a component based, because you can actually say, okay, the issue is with this specific component. If all the software were in one conglomerate, you would have a real hard time going through hundreds of thousands. I think our last product at one point had 300,000 lines of code. Not all were active, but that's almost space shuttle-esque. It's obviously poor code too. It's probably writing a lot of crap that doesn't need to be written or was rewritten, or multi-threaded, multiple queries doing the same thing. Bad architecture on the last one, which is why none of those people are still working with us. The new one, so we break out into each component level. It's easy to troubleshoot, it's easy to diagnose, and it's also very easy to be able to share those components with other groups because they may look at our product and say, okay, we don't need the mining component, where people are mining the happy token and using it in conjunction with USDC as a stable coin. Maybe we don't need that for our people, or maybe we don't need the geo-based marketing component of Happy. But we love the chat, we love the video, we love the tie-in with Stripe, we love all this other aspects, we love super search. We love the share. We like the real time. We like all this other stuff, but we don't like these things. Now they can say, okay, we don't want the happy UI for our for our purposes. We already have this product. Let's go ahead and pull in some elements of the product, wrap them into our product, usually using iframes or whatever they want to do. And now they're pulling in from the API in a component based architecture. That is the beauty of the microservices is you don't have to pull in you can, it's almost like a buffet, for the fat people out there like me. You can buffet and you can say, I want the salad, I want the chickpeas, I want a little bit of the chicken. I don't want I don't want the hot peppers, I don't need the jalapenos. That's the beauty of microservices. You could pick and choose off the menu what you do and don't want, and then go ahead and either have it a la carte, directly through the salad bar, or you can take it and say, "Hey, chef, I want you to add, a little bit of mushrooms to my steak, a little bit of garlic aioli to my toast." That would be the akin to taking something from the microservices and doing some additional development on top of it. So to stick with a cooking analogy, it's basically a large menu of different items that you can pull in and then you can customize through the chef and tell the chef what you want, the chef being your IT staff. The more thorough you are about telling the chef what you want, the more likely you are to get what you want when you go ahead to take a bite in it. If you just say, "Chef, surprise me," the chef might come back with something that makes you gag and throw up in your own mouth. So that's the essence of a microservices architecture. And the advantages are if you combine it with a progressive web app, you've got a single team that can manage your all your apps ubiquitously across the board. And you've got a suite of products that people can pick and choose what they want, what your customer wants, and not just give them a whole variety of things. Plus, if there's a problem with a food item, if somebody says, "Hey, this steak is overcooked," the steak's overcooked. In a traditional world, they just say something was wrong with my meal. I need to find it. And you'd have to go through every menu item to figure out what was wrong. So the microservices architecture saves you time, saves you resources, saves you money. And when you combine it with a progressive web app, your life is so much better as a entrepreneur, and it becomes quite a tasty meal for you and for your customers. So that's my evening tonight, listening to a little jazz in the background. We'll do this again tomorrow. Well, just tomorrow, day after, whatever. We will do it soon. Thank you for joining, and hope you guys have a beautiful evening. Stay happy.